It's about damn time, DICE, that you're going to make some big changes to Battlefield 2042, because Battlefield 2042 is the worst game ever made. At least, well, the worst game that I've ever played. Well, the worst Battlefield game I've ever played. And most people agree it's the worst Battlefield ever made, even worse than Hardline, which was already pretty bad. So yeah, they're about to make some changes to it, which I think might pull me back if they do it right, if they execute on it right. There's a laundry list of like hundreds and hundreds of features that they're missing from the previous Battlefield games. It's absolutely insane. I think they tried to capture some of the magic from Warzone, with the operators and stuff like that, paid DLC stuff like that, and they just fell flat on their face. They couldn't compete. So, basically, the game was a flop. I feel scammed, honestly, quite honestly. The money I spent on it, I spent like $80 or something for like the gold version or whatever it was, the ultimate edition, and I just feel like I was robbed. So we're going to get into some of the changes that they've announced that they're going to be making today. But before we do, smash the like button, hit the bell icon, hit the subscribe button, because if you like tech, if you like gaming news, then I think you'll find a good home here. I'm Blaze2K, nice to meet you. Thank you for taking the time to check out this video. And if you want to support even more, consider becoming a member and joining the Blaze2K clan. By clicking the join button down below. So, article comes courtesy of Polygon. DICE is reworking Battlefield 2042 maps and says future maps will be smaller. Yes, that's one of my biggest gripes about Battlefield's maps, is that they're far too big. Yeah, they increased the player count to 128 players, 128 players, but for the maps that they gave us, I think you need to have like at least 250 or something, or 300 players to sort of fill out those maps, because the maps are far too massive. There's far too much open space. There's not much originality in the designs. It's just really, they're just boring as hell. And like from the moment I played the beta, even the map with like the big like space rocket and stuff like that blown up in the tornado, even then, even that map was a little bit of a bloody bore, honestly. There's far too much running around. It feels like you're not really doing anything or helping in any way. It's just a crappy game. And like I said, I think they were trying to capture or win back some of the audience that had went to bigger battle royale games like Warzone, and try to capture or capitalize on that whole like operator thing where people will pay DLC, pay for operators, pay for skins, and it just ended up looking like a cash grab, honestly. It looked like a mess. It's nothing like any Battlefield game I've ever played before. And I could go on and on about all the things that Battlefield 2042 is missing. Literally, a laundry list of hundreds of features that they've just not added to the game that were in previous games. So it's very much like a different game altogether. But anyways, the changes they're going to be making. Kaleidoscope will see the first rework in Season 1. So they are actually making changes to the maps, thank God. After a rough launch period for Battlefield 2042, developer DICE updated players on key design changes for its shooter in a blog post Thursday morning. The studio says it had discovered some pain points. Some pain points? Are you kidding me? All the pain points you could possibly have. Across all Battlefield 2042's maps. Although these issues are prominent in some maps more than others, and reveal changes coming in Season 1 help alleviate the problems, as well as plans to build smaller maps in the future. In its research, DICE says it had discovered issues with traversal, intensity, line of sight, paths, and cover in 2042's map. You ain't kidding, dude. The game's maps are too large, and objective areas are too spread out. It takes players too long to move from their base to the nearest objective, leading to a lot of traversal time. We've seen you use terms such as walking simulator to describe how this game feels. How this feels in game, the developer said. We understand that this isn't a satisfying experience and agree that there's too much overall travel time. However, once in combat, things can get a little bit too intense with the number of players and vehicles swarming around. DICE said it's looking to reduce player count in certain modes, specifically Breakthrough, where it'll likely land on 64 players. It's also looking at removing the number of vehicles players have access to. Yes! Far too many vehicles, and some of the vehicles, especially the hovercraft, were way too OP, dude. You saw them like driving up skyscrapers and just like being complete tanks. No, that's not how you should be. The studio will move certain bases and objectives closer together. As you can see in the image below, the attack groups in Sector 1 are far closer together in the prototype layout, and the attackers will start on the same side of the map as the objective. This should help concentrate players in the objective area and reduce the amount of time spent walking from the base to the attack points. So this is, I'm guessing, the first layout, the original layout. All right. As you can see, A1, big massive gap between A1 and A2. Now they're sort of lining them up a little bit nicer now. Okay. I mean, they could change the boundary of the map to be a bit smaller too. I think that map's just too big. The cover and line of sight issues both play into each other, with DICE revealing that players are often caught in large areas without much defense. This forces much of the game's combat into longer range battles than the studio intends, so it's exploring more ways for players to hide themselves as they cross the map. The studio also wants more clearly defined paths for players to walk, which should make defending an objective more predictable. DICE said it's going to make these changes gradually to older maps, starting with what it believes to be the biggest offender, Kaleidoscope. The Kaleidoscope rework for both Breakthrough and Conquest modes is slated for 2042's first season, which won't hit until later this summer. It's too late, DICE. Damn too late. I bought the game last year. It's been months. And they're only starting to make some of these changes now. Like, dude, come on. They've had 3 years to make this damn game. And don't say COVID. Come on, don't say COVID is the reason why it's this bad. These changes will also be applied to future maps still in development, with bigger focus on developing smaller maps than players saw at launch. DICE said, Battlefield 2042 supports player counts of up to 128 players, with extra large size maps designed to accommodate that increased player count. Still too big for 128, honestly. The developer says it's gathering feedback from players on future pain points to solve for, as well as other maps are causing serious problems. Alright, if you ask me, it's too late. It's too late. Honestly, they should just wipe this game off the face of the earth and start focusing on a new Battlefield game from the ground up. This game, like, there's less destruction in this game. The animations are worse in this game. The end physics engine is worse in this game, and there's some parts of the game where the textures look fucking horrible. Honestly, the maps are horrible. It's missing like 200, like 500 different things. Go on Reddit. There's an actual list. Somebody's actually went down every single thing that this game's missing, and it's came to about like 500 or more different things, and a lot of them are like significant things too. So yeah, this game is, to me, it's dead. Honestly, I don't think there's literally anything they could do to this game at this point. I mean, yeah, making the map smaller, adding more cover points, yeah, reducing the amount of vehicles people have access to, like making the objectives closer and stuff like that. Yeah, but season 1 ain't coming till later in the summer. I'm speechless. Honestly, I'm speechless. And like, this is just a small thing that they're changing. There's a laundry list of things that are missing, and this game's done, dude. It's done. Yeah, if you like it, good for you. I'm glad that you like it, but I'm sorry, dude. Like, they should really just like divert resources to making a brand new Battlefield game, honestly, or just devote resources into Portal, if anything. But I think this game is it just sucks, dude. The engine sucks, and it's done. It's done. They need to focus on a new one. Just write it off altogether. I know they've spent a lot of money and time on it, but it doesn't show. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think in the comments. Were you as disappointed as me? I'm a massive Battlefield fan. I've been playing Battlefield since the first one. Battlefield 2 on the PC back in the day with like the 50 expansions that came out for it. This is the Battlefield game that I remember fondly. Let me find it for you. Battlefield 2 PC. This game is probably, well, okay, this game's probably my second favorite or third favorite. This is the first one that I played. It came, Battlefield 2, the complete collection. It came with all these expansions, all these maps. They had a shit ton of vehicles. Like, the maps were absolutely brilliant, dude. And there was so much to this game. Battlefield 3 ended up being one of my favorites, or if not my most favorite. And then Battlefield 4 came out, and over time, Battlefield 4 ended up becoming kind of like Battlefield 2, the original Battlefield 2, in terms of the content that they gave us for that. And then I've not been interested at all with Battlefield 5 and Battlefield 1, just because there were World War 1, World War 2, and that doesn't really interest me anymore. There's been far too many World War 1 and 2 games. And then 2042 was like, I mean, oh, sorry, 2142 was another good Battlefield game. I think that came out after Battlefield 2. But Battlefield 2042, I was hoping it would bring the game back to like modernish day, right? Slightly in the future. And would bring all the best things of Battlefield 4, Battlefield 3, Battlefield 2, Battlefield 2142 into one game. And they completely fucked it up. I'm sorry. Anyways, I'm livid about it. I'm still livid, but it is what it is. If you like this video, drop a like, hit the subscribe, hit the bell, click the bell icon. I'd really appreciate it. If you're a Battlefield fan, stick around. I love Battlefield. I want to go back to playing and streaming some older Battlefield games like Battlefield 4, Battlefield 3, you name it. Yeah. And if you want to join me for the ride, and if you want to get excited for the future Battlefield, the future of the Battlefield franchise, I believe it can be saved. All right, but not with 2042. 2042 is done. Anyways, guys, take care. I love you. See you in the next video. It's Blaze2K signing out. Peace.